Hello, everybody, and welcome back to reviewing every single WrestleMania main event in history. Today we are on episode 11, and we are reviewing WrestleMania 11, where we saw NFL great Lawrence Taylor take on Bam Bigelow. This is one of the strangest main events because, well, one of them's not a wrestler, and the other one is, and this might be mean to Bam Bam, but, he was really good. But it's Bam Bigelow. Again, not to slander Bam Bam, but that's not where you would expect him to be. Anyways, so a fun fact about this match, this is Lawrence Taylor's only ever wrestling match. So he is, in his career, has never done anything except main event a WrestleMania. That is a really weird sentence. Some notes on his cage match page. I just want to mention these as well. His nickname is LT, obviously. And his signature move is tackle. What? A defensive player can tackle? What? Well, nonetheless, I'm going to review the match. I've never seen it before, so I'll be giving you my very raw reactions after I've seen the bout. Hey, everybody, just got finished watching the match, and this match, it's okay. There's nothing that memorable from it, and it was a very bland ending, especially for the WrestleMania main event. Like, there have been WrestleManias with disappointing endings where maybe the wrong person won, but they had some fanfare. This has no fanfare, but we'll get to that once I get to the end. A couple of pre-match notes. So Lawrence Taylor, who is a New York Giants football player from the past, very good defensive line, is introduced as being from not the New York Giants, but the New York Football Giants, which is not a real team. The NFL All-Star team are at ringside for LT, while the $1 Million Corporation are at ringside for Bam Bam, who got an introduction, but I didn't have enough time to watch all of it, so maybe there was something cool there. But they have hired, basically, Bam Bam to beat Lawrence Taylor to make themselves look good, because they're, as on commentary, they say, the $1 Million Corporation would be embarrassed to lose this match. They lose the match. But let's begin. So they stand around for a very long time at the beginning, and I get if you're trying to build anticipation to the start of a match. You might look around at the crowd, woo! And then you start going at it, and the crowd cheers. But instead of that, they just stand around for 3 minutes. The match doesn't technically start until Lawrence just to the face of Bam Bam. Pat Patterson, the referee, says, okay, sure, rings the bell, and the match begins. So they mentioned the Diesel, the man who just retained his Intercontinental title over Shawn Michaels in the previous match, which is probably the best match on this show, trained Lawrence Taylor for this match. And throughout the match, he uses some moves that are part of Diesel's general arsenal, such as, big clotheslines, clobbering blows, and he does a jackknife. It's not great, but he does do a jackknife. So he is very Diesel-y in this bout. Bam Bam takes control after Taylor is distracted by an altercation by the two ringside teams for each man. Like, he's thrown out of the ring by Bam Bam. Bam Bam follows him, and they kind of tussle. But both of the teams are kind of like yelling at each other, and Bam Bam rolls into the ring, and he starts to recover, but Lawrence is trying to calm everybody down. And as he's getting back in the ring, he starts getting beat up by Bam Bam. They alternate control for about 5 minutes after this. One of them throws the other into the corner, boot to the stomach. Punch back, boot to the stomach, punch back. One of them does a slightly bigger move, and so on and so forth. Bam Bam finally gets control after, as I said, about 5 minutes, and then tries to get Lawrence to tap out. That's not Lawrence Taylor-y. That's not something I would assume him to do, but I guess it makes him look better if he's able to get someone like Lawrence Taylor to tap out, which does make sense. So he locks in things like a Boston Crab, a leg lock, and mostly targets the legs because they're the strongest part of a general football player, so that's a really smart move there by Bam Bigelow. So Bam Bam goes up top and does a moonsault, which is pretty impressive for someone of his size, but he lands, this is all in kayfabe, lands on his knee awkwardly, and he rolls off. He's like, my knee. And so he can't cover LT immediately. By the time he's able to go over there and get the cover in, LT is able to kick out. Bam Bam does stay in control, though, and keeps working on him, and does a lot of high-power moves, those big clubbing clotheslines, big shoves into the corner, stuff like that. And about 3 to 4 minutes after that, Bam Bam is also distracted by the teams at ringside. They're kind of clashing a little bit. He looks over the rope saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" This Lawrence does what I can only recall as the Hogan spot, but plus Undertaker. So basically, he's stunned. He's down in the ring. He's like, he's in pain, but he all of a sudden just goes, and he's all ready. He is pumped up. He's prepared to fight. So Bam Bam turns around and he starts beating him up. Big forearm to the face. Bam. Does another one. Bam. Now I want you to take a guess. This is the winning move of the match. He wins the match against Bam Bam Bigelow with this move. Take a guess. I will give you 5 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. He wins the match with a middle rope leaping elbow. Given he does get a lot of height on this elbow, but it is a middle rope elbow to the face, which he wins with. Listen, I know he's a football player. I think you can do a little more than and yeah, he sells really well during this match. And I do think Taylor is probably the highlight of the bout, but it's not a great ending. And especially the celebration, because normally if you win the WrestleMania main event, that's amazing for your career. That's so good. You look around at the crowd, they all cheer, you celebrate, let's go. And if you won a title, it's even better. But even if you didn't win a title, you won the WrestleMania main event. And at this point, you're going to get pyro. So how do you think they celebrate Lawrence Taylor? With a big, New York Giants flag that comes out. Maybe the whole team lifts him up on their shoulders and he celebrates. No, they all come in the ring. They're like, "Oh, man, good job, man," and just leave. They seem so casual. They operate in wrestling form for a minute. They come in the ring, "Oh, hey, man, great job. That was a really good performance. Let's go." And put their arms over him. They're like, "All right, good job, man. We got to get out of here. We need to get our money's worth for being here." So it's a really disappointing ending to the show, technically show and match as well. But overall, it was a decent showing by a guy who doesn't really wrestle at all. This was his first and only match up to this point. I don't think he's going to wrestle again, but you never know. I'm going to give this match a C plus, maybe a B minus as well, but I think it's deserving of a C to a C plus. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Have you seen the match before? Have you not? Well, I recommend you check it out, at least for the historical value of the fight. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, good whatever. Watch any former or future episodes of the series, and goodbye.